Well, good morning, everybody. Ron with Santa Car Services, and last night I got myself involved in a post. But I'd like to say off the bat, right now, that the person that I made that had the post, I have no problem with him or his work. I am not saying he does things wrong. Okay, he looks like he's a really, really good electrician. I just strongly disagree with one thing that he said, and now a couple of other people have chimed in, and it sounds like I'm getting attacked for pushing Weatherpac connectors. So I guess, you know, to me, telling my story on how much experience I have has never been something I've had to do. My work usually speaks for itself. But for those of you that don't know my background, I'm a retired master technician for automotive, and I've been working on off-road and racing vehicles my entire life. So I am Caterpillar electrically certified, and I am an I don't hold the current certification now, but trust me, it's the same test as it was 15 years ago. But I was ASE electrically certified. I have been through numerous electronic courses in my career, and the part that I really enjoy talking about is I have been building wiring harnesses. My first harness that I built for an A-body Chevrolet Monte Carlo was done in 1985, and I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot since then. But all I want to discuss is, number one, we need to not trash each other, okay? My work is not subpar. His work is not subpar. All I'm doing is letting people that I work for kind of understand what's going on. So one of the things, let's get into this. So in my opinion, and this is an opinion, okay, Baja Designs lighting is the best LED lighting available right now for the money bracket that it's in. And even the money bracket that it's in is insane. Okay, this is my Onyx 6 light bar that goes on my Tatum that I'm doing the rebuild on right now. The argument on the table, and friendly argument, by the way, because like I said, there's no animosity. I'm telling my side of the story, they can tell their side of the story, right? So I decided to do this in a video so you can hear the tone of my voice, because when I do text messages or respond, sometimes it sounds condescending or nasty or like I'm picking on something, and really it's just me putting in my 2 cents. So Baja Designs, in my opinion, are the industry standard right now for lights, especially these Pro Series lights, which are so bright they just blow everything else away. But what's interesting is they didn't choose to use a Deutsch connector. They went with a Delphi Weatherpac style connector. Okay, these are big wires too. We're talking, this is a 10 gauge wire on this thing, right? Which is the maximum load. It's actually a little bit overkill for a Weatherpac connector, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And then this is if I remember correctly, this is the center light, and it's also running 10 gauge through a Weatherpac connector. Now, I do install Deutsch connectors, okay, and I do have a Deutsch kit. Let's talk about this for a minute, because I have never said that Weatherpac is better than Deutsch. I dare somebody to go and find a video from where I was bragging about updating somebody's cooling fans to Weatherpac where I said they're better than Deutsch. I'm going to end the argument right now by telling everybody this connector right here, this Deutsch connector, is a superior connector to the Weatherpac connector. But in my 40 years of working on electrical systems and looking at cars that have had melted wiring, I have seen a whole lot of these connectors burnt along with a whole lot of these connectors burnt. And it wasn't the connector's fault. Nearly every time you go to take one of these apart and there's a failure with it, you'll find out that the person that made the connector, that crimped it, didn't do it with the proper tool, And what ended up happening is it created an enormous amount of resistance in the wire between the terminal. And that resistance creates heat. Heat creates smoke. Smoke creates fire. Well, kind of, but that's the domino effect that usually happens. Smoke comes first, then the fire. But you can burn a Deutsch connector just as easily as you can burn a Weatherpac connector. When you think about it, if you pull one of these out of the connector, the plastic housing is literally just a plastic housing. Deutsch has their cool little seal. It's a big old huge seal on top. Weatherpac runs their seal around it's really funny. They're male terminals, but they're female on the inside. But if you put a Weatherpac together properly, the female insert will actually be inside the male side of the Weatherpac connector, but they seal them a little bit different. Now, if I was wiring a boat or a marine application, this is what I'm putting in your boat. But I don't wire boats anymore. Because this is a superior connector. I just have a problem with people saying that these suck and that they're not good for anything. They're good for up to about 15 amp circuits. And there's your proof right there. My argument is if they don't like the connectors I'm choosing to put on a cooling fan or in customers' lights, they need to contact this company right here and tell them that every one of their units needs to be recalled because it's got the wrong electrical connector. So stand by, I'm going to transport you out to the fun Tatum I'm building. Alright, so we're back out here, and these are brand new Baja design. These are not Squadrons, these are the Pro Series. These are the super bright ones. Right? Weatherpac connectors from the factory. XL80s, Weatherpac connectors. Smaller Pros, Weatherpac connectors. So, my point being, if they're that big of trash connectors, why would a company as high-end as Baja Designs incorporate them into their lighting system? So, just food for thought. But before we start picking on people's careers, you might want to go back and look at how many jobs I've done in my life and how many of them actually have come back. You'd be pretty amazed to find out that my work has a really good reputation. So I thank you. See everybody out in the dunes.